Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here. Welcome back to Painted Studio. This is our second live today. I've been very ambitious this week. I got 3 lives in yesterday. I got 2 in today. So I'll probably fall in a coma tomorrow and you won't see me. But we're going to be working on lots of holiday stuff. Now, I am a pure Christmas junkie. I have been all my life. Anything that I can do that's Christmassy, sparkly, fun, that's what I do. So with that in mind, excuse me, I had a piece of hair in my mouth. I needed to get it out. I didn't want to stick my fingers in my mouth while y'all were watching. So, of course, now that I've stuck my fingers in the mouth, what are we doing? Sanitizing. Yes. No stinky fingers on my projects. All right, so now I am sanitized. I just had to get the hair out of the mouth. All right, so the next thing we're working on, you saw our little house that's sitting and drying. So the next thing we're going to work on is ornaments. Now the ornaments you're seeing here are ones that I carry, and you're more than welcome to order them. We're getting them in stock. And of course, if you see any of the ones that I've already created that you like and want to buy, just send me a message and I'll let you know how much it is and I'll ship it to you. So we're going to, hey Liliana, nice to see you here. And Tess, nice to see you. Thank you for coming in. And I just knocked all my comments off. All right, so we're going to scroll down here. So you can see in front of me, I have all these shapes. We have big gift tags. We have little gift tags. Sorry, I foiled adhesive all of these, so things are a little sticky. We have our little trucks, and we have our little gingerbread men. Now, obviously, the tags all have their holes drilled in them. The gingerbread men don't have to be ornaments with holes drilled in them, but you know what? I'm going to be drilling holes in all of mine. Now, if you look at these right now, the way you're seeing them, they're not very pretty on this side. There's a reason. I already did the other sides of these over the summer when I was on a vacation, because we had a massive crafting table going in the dining room of the cottage we rented, and everybody sat down and did crafts every night. So I did a whole lot of these already so that you all could see what the possibilities were, and then I can show you how we got there. So the first thing I'm going to do, this truck, you can see I've done it on one side. It's complete, and it's very cute. Now, I didn't do any of my trucks in any traditional stuff, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. This side obviously is just painted with black set coat right now. Nothing else is on it. So the first thing, of course, I have to do is apply some foil adhesive if that's what I was going to do. When we purchase these and when you order them unpainted, they come in raw wood. They don't come painted at all. So everything's up to you from your base coat to how you finish it. Spray just a little water in there. And then, sorry, things are sticking together because other things already have adhesive on them. Then I just brush it. And that helps liquefy the thicker adhesive. I don't put the water into the container if I can help it, unless I had a big project to do, and then I'd thin it about no more. Average thinning is like 1 to 2% with water because all you're doing is getting it to spread. But if it's gotten really thick, which is what happens when I have an older can that's been sitting for a while and had a lot of air, I can thin it up to about 5%. All I'm trying to do is get it back to its original consistency. And again, as always with Artsyville foil adhesive, it does not level. So how you brush it on is going to be part of your final finish. If you don't want brush strokes like I've got, which personally I love, that's part of hand-painted look, you can use a velour roller, which is pink, and they're about 4 inches, so they go on the end of one of the little hot dog rollers frames, and use that. I don't use sponge rollers because sponges create bubbles. I don't use 3/4 nap rollers because that creates too much texture. Velour rollers seem to be the ones that lay it down the smoothest for that. And it can be sprayed, but man, you got to make sure you clean your sprayer really, really well, or you will never be able to use the sprayer again once the adhesive's hardened in there. All right, let me get this one spot because I got a little dribble right there. I'm gonna stick it over to the back. And yeah, my hands are now gooey. Put the lid on, put the brush on, and we're gonna start foiling some stuff. Let's start with one of the big ones. So you can see I did this with, which foil did I use? I used silver confetti and the green, kiwi green leopard. Kiwi green leopard. Well, we're not going to do that on the other side. We might say use the same stencil so there's a little continuity. And sorry, things are sticking to me because I got foil adhesive on my hand. Everything sticks to me except money. All right, so this is our blooms stencil, and I'm gonna put it right there. I think, yeah, that'll work. I just want to kind of center it at the top a little bit. And then we lay it down, and I tap it a little bit just so that it stays down. And it's right over this. We've already put our black set coat, just like this one. We've already applied black set coat and Artsyville foil adhesive. And now it's just, the next step is to do something with foil. So I think I haven't used this one. This is a sample that I got from our manufacturer, and I'm considering bringing it in. So if you guys like it, once I'm done with this, let me know, and I will let them know that we'd like to continue it. It's sort of a camouflage pattern, but it's in primary colors, which is really pretty cool. Now, I'm not going to do, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 13 ornaments in front of me. We're not going to do them all today. I'm not that crazy, and we don't need to stay on for all those hours. So we'll be working on these on and off for the next few days, each one at a different time. And so the first thing I'm going to do, you can see, is I'm rubbing this with my fingers. Now, I'm not going all the way to the edge because I don't want to have a hard seam here. And I'm going to zoom this in so you all can see me a little better. All right, let's do that over here just a little bit. Sorry, got to adjust everything. So I'm going to rub this with my fingers, and you can see it's adhering really well. I put the foil adhesive on these a couple hours ago, and so it's had a chance to get to a nice firm tack. Now there's a couple ways to do this. If I wanted to get into the edges of my stencil really, really sharply, I'd take a little stylus or the end of a paintbrush and do that around every edge inside here. This one I can get a pretty darn good release just by rubbing it with my fingers, so I'm not going to go in with the stylus on this one. I just want to make sure I got every spot that I could get. Oh, and that release is good. Okay, I'm just going in, checking. And you can see I'm just peeling it back to see if I've got foil released everywhere. So I can go back in with my finger if I want, and if I've missed a spot, rub a little more. You can do this with a brush, you can do it with a rag. I happen, for small projects like that, I just use my fingers. And if my fingers get sore and tired, I put a piece of cloth over my fingers. I tend to like to do this on small projects. Some of it's control. I feel like I get sometimes a little better control just getting into a stencil like this with my fingers. I can feel all the edges. So yeah, I'm probably sounding like some kind of control freak, but it's not that. I can see and feel and understand where everything is. And I do this with a lot of projects. Sometimes my hands just need to get into whatever it is I'm working on and really get a feel for it. I'm very clearly very hands-on when I work. But it also lets me feel the design, know where everything's supposed to be placed. It's just the way I like to work sometimes. It's not what everybody does. It's not what everybody has to do. It's my way. And today it's my way or the highway. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody buys that. No, not even my family buys that with me. If I tried to say that at home, they'd all laugh at me. And I'd have deserved it. Okay, so that's gonna look really great. Oh yeah. So I've got that on there. Now I need to reposition my stencil so I can get the pattern released on this side and the bottom. And I'll have to give a little check to make sure there's nothing that needs to be released up around the edges. And this is part of moving a stencil, is understanding registration. So when you see a stencil, you see this whole pattern cut out, and you'll either see little marks in the corners here, or you'll see extra cutouts of the design, like on this one. And what they do is they allow you to move the stencil around a surface and have the pattern line up perfectly. We're going to put some of this right in here. I love this. This is our Blooms mini stencil. And the reasons it's a mini stencil is the manufacturer makes this in a big size for walls. But I bring in the small sizes for furniture and projects. Oh, and for anybody who's interested still, we are still doing the $35 stencil mystery box. So if you're interested in that, send me a message. You get a minimum of 6 stencils, often more. Most of the stencils are of a $70 value or higher, but at the very least, they're $30. So if you're a stencil person and would like to have some more stencils, definitely send me a message and it goes out, and that $35 includes shipping. Come up in here. Now this foil has a slightly directional pattern, but I'm kind of ignoring it. And I'm ignoring it for a reason. It's because I don't want to cut any more foil. I haven't just enough foil to get this done. By the time I'm done and put another pattern over it, it won't even be noticeable that some of this goes in a slightly different direction. Okay, so now I've got my entire pattern on there, which, yeah, I love this. Rima, can I send you my stencils to sell? I think, Rima, are you talking about emptying out your stencil? You purging your stencil closet? Rima is one of a bunch of very fine finishers, and she, like I, have a huge back stock of stencils. I keep most of mine for here in the classroom, but I happen to have a whole bunch of classroom and even some brand new stencils, 100% available to be purchased, because I've been sitting on them for forever. Okay, I think I'm looking at this and I kind of want to do red, but I have a feeling if I do red, it might completely disappear with that background. So why don't we try a little bit of the tinsel? No, that might make that. This is the hardest part, is finding a background color that does not make the rest of this disappear, because we have light colors. So I'm thinking we could do something. Let's do muted gold. I do these weird combinations. Honest to God, I have no idea how they're going to look until I'm done with them. So they're either fabulous or they're god-awful. So far, most have been pretty fabulous. If I think too hard, other than considering the value of the colors, meaning the intensity, the darkness, the depth, the hue, the saturation, all of that stuff, yeah, you can tell I studied color theory and taught some of it. Oh, God. But what I want to do is I want to make sure I just don't lose that design in there. Now, I do have black foil. Why would I want to do black foil? I could just leave it painted black if that was the case. We're going to try something different. We're going to try our muted gold V-mask foil. And remember, V-masks are not fabric friendly foils, so they're going to have a little different looking backing. And this is V-mask muted gold, the not pretty side. I keep trying not to say the ugly side because I feel like that's insulting. But the not pretty side of the foil goes down to the adhesive, and then the pretty side stays up. I am going to take my scrubber over this evenly, and let me peel it. Oh, wow. Well, I didn't screw up that choice. I think it looks sharp. So you can see we got terrific release from our V-mask. And yeah, that's nice. So we got pretty wild on this side, and it's really a little more subtle on this side. Of course, subtle being relative. But that really came out pretty. Hey, Phyllis, thanks for popping in. Every once in a while I look up and I can see some names and stuff of people who are popping in, so I'm very happy to see you. So that one came out great. Let's play with a couple of different shapes so that you're not all looking at the same thing. Let's see, what have I got? Now this one's a fun one. I'll share this one. You can see I've painted, this one is painted metallic navy, has it from Set Coat, for a metallic navy set coat from Faux Effects. Then we've applied our Artsyville foil adhesive over that. And then if you look at the other side, this side's completed. So we used our Dragonfly stencil, then applied the pink leopard foil through it, did a V-mask background, I think that's spotted champagne, and then we used our Scribble Writer Deco Foil liquid adhesive and drew on it to outline everything, and then foiled over that. So we got some, because what happened is when I did this, the dragonfly sort of disappeared, so I wanted to do something to make it pop. So now we got to do something on this side. I think I'm going to stick with the same stencil. If I can find it in my pile of stuff over here. I know it's here. You should see I got stacks of stuff all around me because I had planned this, but you know, I didn't stick everything in here in order. There's the dragonfly. I think this is the one we used. She might have found, this looks awfully big for that one. Oh no, this must have been, nope, that's the right one. I'm just making sure I got the right stencil because I thought it looked really big. And it does look kind of big on here, but it worked. So we're gonna put the dragonfly here. This is our dragonfly stencil made by Two Chatty Chicks Designs. And we carry this one as well. I love this. So we did the pink leopard on that side. So I think we'll do some kiwi leopard on this side. And then we'll do a little different background. And like I said, I don't think these color combinations out ahead of time. I just kind of go with it because I find that if I overthink it, if I think it too hard, I get overwhelmed, quite frankly. I just don't want to be that rigid. I want to explore my ideas. Now this one, we're gonna have to do the stylus thing on. It is super small detailed with that mandala dragonfly pattern. So really what I'm gonna have to do is kind of shove this in like this. And then I'm gonna have to go back with my little stylus. And you can get these on Amazon. I honest to God, I'm not sure where I got this one. But I've had it forever. I must have come in a kit or something that I had. I really don't know why I have it. But I know you can buy them, styluses like this on Amazon, because a lot of people use them for like those dot paintings, the dot mandalas. So that's really good for these. These things are used for that, dotting the paint on. It's not something I normally do. It's not like sorry, got a lot of other bigger things to do. So little mandalas, dotting paint is just not where I've gone. I see it. I think it's amazing. And if I could sit still, even though because I do love little fussy things like that. But, man, I can't take on one more new thing at the moment. Okay, and I just keep rolling the foil back to make sure I've gotten things, because it's really easy with a stencil this detailed to miss stuff, and I know I'm going to be missing stuff really fast as soon as I get away from this upper body area, because there's a lot of little details all over the place with this thing. Yep, gotta get in there. This is generally not one I choose to do this kind of detailing on a live, because it takes a while. I know people watching get a little tired of watching me do like little scribbly things, but today you're getting stuck with that. Let's see, let's roll back. Oh, I've got a lot of little detail right in here to work on. All right, I'm gonna see if I can zoom you in just a little more. There we go. Slide that so you can see it. Now I am getting a little warm in here. Whew, time for the scarf to come off. I'm sitting under lights and it gets hot. So I would love to hear from people about if they're doing lives, what camera systems and tripod systems they're using, because I am frustrated as heck with all of my tripods and all of my camera systems. None of them do exactly what I want them to do. Really, probably I just need another person here doing it with me. All right, I can see these little tiny spots that I'm not getting any foil into. Or maybe I'm getting black in there and I just can't see it. Let me try it with another spot, green. There we go. Now I was actually missing them. Now, I love this stencil. Its detail is so pretty. Okay, I'll get a little more detail down under here. And really, I'm feeling for the openings with this little stylus, because there's no way even my fingers can catch all of those little details. It's just not possible. Now, just so you know, this can make, occasionally this can make some of the foils look a little duller, because I'm scratching on this stuff to get the release. So it might, for details like this, it actually doesn't, you don't see that difference, but on a big surface, just be aware of that. You know, using something hard like this to release foils on a bigger surface can make it show some scratches or some dull spots. So I'm going home earlier tonight. I stayed kind of late last night. And we seem to have, we have some characters in our town. It's a really pretty little town. But we get some interesting moments, including the fact that I have a couple of beautiful planters in the back and some seating and stuff that we enjoyed over the summer. Unfortunately, some of the other neighbors like to go behind our planters and our chairs and use it for a restroom. And I came outside the other night or last night, and they were singing, like just singing and peeing. So I don't know if I want to stay too late tonight and encounter the neighborhood singing urinator. I think I'm kind of done with that guy for the week. And yeah, I actually thought about not telling you all that story, but you know, you've seen it. I'm here working, just stuff comes out of my mouth. So, oh well. If that was too much information, sorry, I don't have a bleep button. So I love this pattern. It's really just releasing so well. So you can already see how nice my dragonfly is. Rima, yes, Rima, we do have some unique people in this neighborhood. And it's probably because the only thing open that late at night are the bars and the restaurants. And, you know, somehow they just, I don't know why going behind, don't ask me. I don't try to understand some of this stuff. I just try to, you know, roll my eyes and move on. Okay, let's get that in there. And what I'm doing is, and it might not be so easy for you all to see, but I can see when I lift the foil, the areas that are still showing even the slightest bit of blue, I just try to go back in and release a little more foil in there so we have a nicer transfer. So a couple things to remind everybody of. When you order from us, there is an option for free local pickup. We do not have an option for free shipping because we don't offer free shipping at this time. So if you live out of the area and haven't selected shipping, you're going to get a phone call from me within 24 hours saying, we have to take care of that, otherwise we can't send it to you. So please remember to check shipping when you check out. Make sure you get everything you need the way you need it. All right, so here we go. Now I'm generally very careful peeling off my stencils because there's a lot of little bridges. These little, if you're not familiar with that term, these little tiny cutouts here, very, very small. You can see from the size of my fingernail, they're very small. Those are called bridges, and they can be torn easily if you're not careful with your stencil. Now, these stencils are durable, they're tough, but if you rip them, you're gonna have some bridges rip on you. So let's not do that. Okay, so this one's got the kiwi leopard on it. I think we're going to take one of our newest foils. This one is called Indian Bronze. This is our new V-Mask Indian Bronze. And we're going to use a little Indian Bronze on this one. Cut a little piece. Set that to the side. Now, I have to pay attention to how I lay this on, A, because V-Mask likes to curl, so that's a challenge, but also because this is actually a directional foil. You can see it's got lines running through it, so I want to try not to get it on a diagonal. That just will look kind of icky. Let me zoom back out a little bit. You don't need to be seeing all the pores on my hands. So I'm scrubbing this way, and I'm scrubbing this way. And V-Mask, you can see, It has a different kind of release on their films. It's just a little lighter, so it wants to really wants to let go of its backing. So it's very easy release. Okay, let's peel it back. Let's see if we can get a little more up there. Nice. Now, there is a little bit of blue. That's the wrong thing. Let's not use that one. Where did I put that other bit of green? There it is. I can see just a little tiny bit of blue in here. Now, this is where the foil adhesive might have been applied a little bit thinner, so it doesn't want to grab it quite as much. That's nothing new. I don't mind that. I'm looking, I pull things off and I'm looking for them as we're talking, because I wanted to see if I could do something, but I can't seem to find it. Oh, there we go. It disappeared on me. So I'm going to try to take this up at this edge and see if I can scrape a little bit off on there with my fingernail, because this doesn't quite dull up the same way some of the other ones will if I scrape it with my nail. And there we go. So look how pretty that is. I mean, that's really lovely, but I will later on draw on it like I did on this side, because I want to have them be the same but different. V-Mask. Lisa asks, what is V-Mask? V-Mask happens to be a specific brand of foils, and we use this to differentiate, because V-Mask tends to make sort of earthy, muted metals, very sophisticated wood grains, things like that. It has a different release than, say, like our Kiwi Leopard. Sorry, piece of paper stuck to it. Our Kiwi Leopard, which is a fabric foil, so it has a different backing and it can be used on fabric and stuff like that. So that's how it's different. This is not a these foils are fabric foils, and their film that they're mounted on is thinner. V-Mask is only for hard surfaces. It's not, or flexible surfaces even, but not for fabric. It will not wash. You can't do that with it. It doesn't hold up. And then we have a couple other foils that are not for fabric, but specifically V-Mask, which is a brand that I carry, is not fabric friendly. So there's that. I think that helps. So I'm going to set this aside because my scribble writer is God only knows where. We'll do the outlining on this on another day. I'm going to pull one of our little trucks. Okay, this one's painted with black set coat. It has Artsyville foil adhesive on it. On the other side, you can see we did a tiger print with silver and gold. So I think what would be fun is to do on the reverse side the same tiger print, but in Christmas red and green. I mean, that would just, we got silver and gold on one side and red and green on the other. Just give me a second to find the stencil, because they're in a stack. And there it is. Now, the challenge with having stencils in stacks like this is that little curly spots like to catch on each other on stencils. Okie dokie. So here is our tiger print. We're going to, let's do it this way. I think that'll cover the most and make the repeat the simplest. All right, so what color did I do on here? I think we'll do, this is going to be about 50-50 spacing wise of green and red. So it doesn't matter too much which I use in the stencil and which fills in the negative space behind the stencil. So we're going to just start with red since that's what I grabbed first. This is Red Glitter Stars. This is a fabric-friendly foil. It comes from APS Studios. We carry a lot of their products. I counted the other day, and we have something like 120 foils in stock. I had no idea I had that many in stock, but yeah, we got a lot. And on our website, whether or not it's fabric friendly, good for fabrics, is marked on each of the foils, so you always know whether or not what you're buying from us can be used with our fabric foil adhesives and get a successful result. Foil adhesive we're using today, Artsyville foil adhesive for non-fabric, non-washable surfaces, as in like it doesn't go in the washing machine. Now I do have to, again, with the tiger print, I need to come back in here with my stylus just to make sure I get around the edges, because this is another one of those patterns that has a lot of fine lines that go down deep, and it's really easy to miss some of the detail. But this will be a little faster because I'm not trying to fill in a ton of little holes. I'm just trying to get the edges of the striping completed. So you can see I'm going much faster with this. Somebody's got their motorcycle out. It's actually kind of a chilly, overcast day, but apparently that is great motorcycling weather, because the cold, not so much, but the overcast, because it makes for good visibility. I know it's a good day for driving. I can't tell you anything about motorcycles. I don't own one. I have a lot of friends who I've been riding on them. I just don't know how to drive one. I don't have a motorcycle license, so my information on how good the weather is for riding a bike is only anecdotal. And that whole tangent just came because I heard somebody on a motorcycle. So somebody asked me the other day why I kind of babble while we do this. It's very simple. I tried being really quiet, and people would ask me, you know, the videos are great, but you're not talking. I don't know what you're doing. So if I just babble on, eventually something informative comes out of my mouth. So clearly what I'm doing is going around the edges and making sure I've got the entire design released before I pull the foil up. Because I know there's going to be areas I'm going to miss. Because the truck itself is an odd shape under here, so I'm not following what would be, it's not, these are rectangular. This has an odd shape, so I have to try to fill in all the shapes wherever they come, or wherever they hit on this thing. Let's see, I feel like I'm missing some stuff right down here, and I am. I think we got most of it. Pretty good. A little spot right in here. And another, nope, that's not a spot, that's just where it was carved. See, I got a little detail right there to get. Now I'm going to have to move the stencil to complete the pattern. Again, lifting carefully so I don't rip my stencil apart. I don't want to have any of those little thin bridges break. Right, now I've got to work to remove, or to not to remove it, but to reposition it. Is that it? Nope. There we go. So what I'm doing here is this stripe matches this opening. And once I find where that goes, I can find the other stripe that matches it up in positioning here and here. So then I can relay my stencil. Okay. Grab a toothbrush first. Give a little brush to grab some of the sticky spots. There we go. So we have all of that. Okay, now, first of all, that's a pretty cool pattern in general. That looks really cool, just like it is. But of course, it's Christmas, and I can't leave well enough alone. So we're going to go with our green confetti foil. Lay this one out, and then I think the last one we'll do is a gingerbread man. So we'll do all 4 of the different cutout shapes with a stencil, and then I'll flip this up and look and see if you have any questions. Actually, I'll probably flip it up and look for your questions after I finish this one. Oh, that came out cool. I have a few little spots here to see if I can get that foil released right there. I might have missed it with the adhesive. Then again, I might not have. Yeah, there's a couple of missed spots, but I kind of like those breakthrough spots. I always have. So here we go. I mean, talk about very Dr. Seuss, very The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. How fun is that? I really love that. All right, I'm going to flip this up and see what some of the questions are for a minute, and then we'll go back down and we're going to do our last one, which is the gingerbread man. I'm going to zoom out so that I can not have this right up my nose. Scroll back. All right. That's Rima's wanting to send me stencils. My goodness, Rima has a lot of brand new stencils. Rima, if you want to have me do something with your stencils, reach out to me later. Oh yes, the rose stencil is called Mini Bloom or Bloom's Mini. It's a wonderful stencil. Let's see. Your nails are amazing. Do I foil them? Thank you, Christina. No, these are actually nail polish strips from a company called Evil Nails. And I like them because they're seasonally spooky. They're actually, when you see them, some of them have little faces in them. But they also hide every paint that I spill on them. Okay. Lisa, hello. Yes, Desiree says, yes, triple check the shipping button. Also, if you're ordering products from us on an Apple device and you hit shipping and you're not getting the right drop-down menus, rotate your device. It's a thing with Apple. It has nothing to do with us, but it's something with Apple and Shopify, which is our platform. And it doesn't always want to show you the drop-down menu. So if you're working on an iPad or an iPhone or something like that, and you can't get a drop-down menu, just turn the device and see what happens. That usually solves the problem. Okay. Lisa, I think I explained VMask. Thank you, Vicky. Let's see. Yes, you can use VMask around ornaments. I've done it a million times. Lisa, I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I don't want to butcher it while I'm trying to read it off of an iPhone. But Lisa asks if you can use V-masks on round ornaments. Absolutely. It can go on any surface. The difference with V-mask and other foils is that these foils that we carry from APS and a couple other people, they're fabric foils. So the foil is a little thinner. The film itself that the metallization is mounted on is a little thinner, a little more flexible, and these can be used on fabric. V-mask, because the piece I had sitting next to me just rolled on the floor. V-mask, their film, you can hear it just from the way it bent. It's a little stiffer. It's not fabric friendly, but it absolutely can be wrapped around ornaments. Remember, not pretty side down. Okay, I'll say it right once. Ugly side down, pretty side up. So, I hate saying that though, it just sounds mean. So those are the differences with the foil. So every foil that we have listed on our website, it may not say V-mask on it, but it will tell you if it's fabric friendly or not. That's the difference with the foils. If it doesn't say it's fabric friendly, do not try to use it on clothing. It will not last, it will not wash, it'll crack, it'll flake, it'll do all kinds of bad things. So those are the differences. Let's see. There's so many of you here. I appreciate it. And Annette's here. Hi, Annette. Nice to see you. Okay, I've answered everybody's questions, so we're going to flip down and do one last ornament, and we're going to do a gingerbread man. Now, you can see our gingerbread man on this side has been painted with black set coat, and we have applied our Artsyville foil adhesive. You can see it was brushed on. You can also see my surface is not pretty because this is the back. This is the front, and we're going to try to do something a little similar, but maybe in different colors. So, and the funny thing is, if you look at this, it's got all these little funny dots that look really, really intentional. You're going to laugh at how I got those on there. Let me pull the stencil. It couldn't be much more appropriate for the way I do things. This is the stencil I used. If you look at it, it's got little crusty bits on it from using it with the spray adhesive that's for the heat transfer. So when I laid it on here, the little chunky bits got on the background, and I thought, oh God, that's gonna look so bad. But we picked good colors, and now it looks intentional, and I really like it. Like, I can't think of how it could have looked better without them. I really like that. So I don't know whether we're going to get some of that happening again this time. Probably, because the stencil isn't much less gritty than the last time I used it. I'm just looking at the sides to see if I can see one side is cleaner than the other. Doesn't really matter. All right, this is our Elizabeth's lace stencil. I'm going to push it down. And since I used a silver on this side, I think I'll try a gold on this side. And I probably have some golds already just sitting out from what I was doing yesterday. Let me go look in my heap. Yeah. I've got plenty of gold cubism that I can use. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to kind of press it down with my, this is the only time you'll ever, oh, I'm sorry, I got to turn the camera down, you're not seeing. Okay, so I do that every once in a while. I get distracted by what I'm doing and I forget to check where the camera is. This is the only time you're going to really see me doing something like this where I'm scrubbing in a circle, and it's because I'm working my design into a very small opening. And honestly, by the end of it, it won't matter. You won't see any of those scrub marks. Let's see how well released we are. We're pretty good. You take the toothbrush, go in there. Now, unfortunately, this is another one of those designs that really wants the stylus, because it's a lot of small openings. I'm going to see how I'm doing here. I might not do the stylus if I can get enough released. Oh, the release is good. I've got good, I mean, I knew the release was going to be fine, but I knew I wasn't sure how deep into some of the details I was getting doing this without the stylus. I'm doing all right. Now, because of the way I scrubbed it too, it's a little duller. So we're not going to have it quite so glitzy shiny. That's okay, it'll work. I will need the stylus to get into all of these little swirls here, the long, narrow ones. I keep feeling the opening, and there we go. All right, pretty good here. See if I can get into that little tip. Because the reason the stylus can be important is that foil, because it just doesn't fold in completely perfectly to every edge of a stencil, especially ones this small. You know, it's like anything else. If you put plastic wrap down on something, it doesn't go all the way to the edges. You have to kind of force it in. And that's what we do with the stylus and the scrub brush. It's forcing the foil down into the openings. Pretty good. A few missed spots. Ooh, that one doesn't want to do it that way, so I'm going to have to do it with the stylus. There we go. All right. A little bit right there, and then we'll be done with this one, and we'll pick a background color. Okay, so again, that is so pretty on its own. So I'm doing a double foil release. That doesn't mean you have to. I'm just showing you multiple ways to get great results. Now that looks really pretty just by itself. It's very elegant, very formal. And then we're gonna take a little bit of, let's see, we'll put this one, this is Old Colorado. I need to have something that's got a little bit of depth and contrast just to make sure the background, that this pattern is seen. Where did I put my little scissors? Here they are. Again, these are not the same foils that I used on the front. Some of them, I'm not even sure what foils I used. Okay, this is another V-mask foil. You can tell from the way it wants. V-mask foils just are what they are, but this is Old Colorado. And I don't know why I point out that when I'm using a V-mask foil that it is a V-mask. It's just a habit of saying it, what it is. Okay, let's hope this looks as cool as the other side. Oh yeah. And I do have some of that spotty release. I do have some of those little bits from the stencil, which actually just sort of give it this wonderful aged patina. So if you have a cruddy stencil and you think you can't do something with it, you're wrong. Look at how cool this cruddy stencil makes this look. I get little spots on here, little texture, little textures, those little white spots up close. That's old adhesive, and all I'm going to do is top coat over this, and it'll make it look very similar to this side, and this side's already been top coated. So I think that really looks cool. I like that. Looks nice and old. So we have our vintage gingerbread man. We have our Dr. Seuss Grinch Who Stole Christmas truck. And by the way, just because I've foiled this too, you can then go back in and paint the details of the truck. You can paint the window and the door frame and the handles and put somebody's name on here. There's nothing stopping that. Oh, Lisa, that's very sweet. Lisa says she thinks it's a good thing that I tell her what brands and everything I use. It's informative to her, so I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback. That's very helpful to me. All right, I know I have the other ornaments here. They're just out of my reach. As I grab other pieces. So we have our more subtle version of the blooms, and only more subtle by the fact that it's this side, this color on the other side. So you hang that on your tree and it'll spin. And don't forget, you can still put more stuff on here. You can put Merry Christmas. If you have a Cricut Maker, you can cut out a Santa and mount him on either side. You have lots and lots of options. This can be the background for far more than just what's on there. And then we have our elegant dragonfly. We have it in the lighter colors on one side and a little more dramatic on the other. And yes, I will be going back and doing the outlining. And I've done that on a couple others. Let me see if I can find another one. Oh, is that one it? No. Ooh, they're sticking together. Let's not do that. There we go. I took a different textile pattern that I'm sharing. It'll be painful for you to watch me do this. But you can see I outlined the entire pattern. I think this is our Indian textile. I'm not sure which one. I can't remember off my top of my head. And because once it was released, everything was too close together in value. I couldn't get a good definition. I went and outlined the whole thing and then used a different gold to release the pattern. So you're only limited to where you want to stop. If I wanted to, I could outline all of this, give it dimension. Some of these things I'll probably get my Cricut Maker out and put in a Merry Christmas, or I'll put somebody's name, or I'll create another image to go on here. We're just starting. We got lots of options. And of course, these should be in, all my new blanks should be in the next 7 to 10 days. They're on order. They make them as I order them. They don't have stacks of them set aside. So it'll take me 7 to 10 days to get them, and I placed the order yesterday. So we should have them hopefully by November 1st. So all of you can do wonderful creative things with them. And meanwhile, I will show you what I'm doing with them to help inspire and give some ideas. All right. Lisa, thank you. And so, thank you, Desiree. That's very nice. I appreciate that you like them. Sorry, my camera's staying up. I swear to God, if anybody knows of better tripod systems and video systems, please tell me. This is making me nuts. So we're done for the... We're done for the day. Thank you, Vicki. We're done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow doing more lives with more fun projects. I hope you all had some fun today. Please use that little sprinkle button that's right down there on your, if you're on a device, it should be right down there on your screen, so you can just pass it along. And everybody have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.